Hold on. Stop right there. Do you like to watch what is considered peak? Did the likes of The Walking Dead and The Last of Us tickle your fancy? Then keep your ears open and keep your eyes peeled, because I have something to show you. Now, let's be honest. Isekai is boring. It's been overplayed 1,000 times over and over again for a quick buck in all forms of media. And all it tends to do is escalate and warp the genre into things that are a little bit of a far cry from the origins. To say the least. Isekai have lost their spark. Every new world is clearly asset ripped from 1,000 others to the point that it's essentially just a Sakuga competition now. A world full of magic and splendor isn't as appealing if you've seen the same magic and the same goblins and the same edgy MC over and over and over and over again. Now, if you're just looking for something fun to watch for a power fantasy, and you're one of those, I am Kaneki, I am death, I just need power, and then I'll show them type of motherfuckers, then I'm sure you won't get bored of those for a while. But if you want to truly rediscover that curiosity you had about the world when watching SAO for the first time, or the longing to see the infinite potential that lies at the bottom of the abyss, or the adventurous spirit you had when you first got a taste of how big the world of Hunter x Hunter really was, then look no further than this anime right here. Heavenly Delusion takes place in this mystifyingly ruined world, brought upon by the dawn of an era equally cataclysmic and bizarre in nature. In this ruined world, humanity has been thinned to a fraction of its population because monsters called man-eaters started to appear. These man-eaters, as the name suggests, eat humans for survival, and not only do they do that, but each one can have special and unique supernatural powers that allow them to do so easier. The narrative follows two different settings that move in parallel to each other. The first setting follows two teenagers, Kiriko and Maru, who probably have as many secrets about themselves as the world itself does. Their journey is to somehow find heaven in a warped, monster-infested wasteland that was once called Japan. Kiriko has been tasked to escort Maru to heaven, assumingly because he possesses a power to mysteriously kill these man-eaters simply by physically touching them. And as far as they know, this heaven is a rumored safe haven where the best and the brightest of humanity persevere and continue to develop the advancements made by society before its downfall. The other narrative follows life inside of this heaven, and how everything might not be as perfect as it seems. In your regular, run-of-the-mill isekai, an MC would usually receive a big, obvious quest to defeat some evil god, king, or dragon, but Heavenly Delusion feels so organic because there are no directions at all. Kiriko knows nothing other than the fact that some way, somehow, she has to find heaven and deliver Maru there. But because of how destroyed the world is, they might as well be searching for a myth. Everywhere you look, you see signs of ruin. Parts of town are completely unexplorable due to the utter dominance of either rubble or nature in the area. The buildings that are still intact need to be tread carefully, or else they might collapse on you at any moment. There are ragtag groups of people everywhere who have been basically reset back to the Stone Age and have to culminate all of their knowledge just to get what used to be normal appliances working again. Markets are dotted around the country, hidden in places where the destruction hasn't taken a huge toll on yet. And it makes you wonder, how did it get this way? What kind of monsters could have culled humanity to such an extent? These kinds of thoughts simply gnaw away at you every single episode, and when one question is answered, even more are raised. Everywhere you look, you see signs and tells that show you that beyond a shadow of a doubt, society is broken. However, miraculously, strangely, humanity isn't. The allure of an old world that has been broken down to its core is that now everything is raw. Humans can now naturally be themselves, whether that be good or evil, because society isn't watching anymore. So when you see a community thriving in such a broken world, it shows you how strong humanity is in contrast. In Isekai, you see the overwhelming strength of the world and its circumstances presiding over its people and forcing them to look outside of it for help. However, in a ruined world where by all means humanity shouldn't have survived at all, people refuse to die. What makes it so refreshing is that while isekai is usually a discovery of a new world, or transport to far back or forward in time for a whole new experience for the main character, a post-apocalyptic world such as the one in Heavenly Delusion holds just as many mysteries, if not more than an entirely new one. Instead of watching the characters chase a mission that has nothing to do with them, for the sake of finding their own self-worth, you get to watch the main characters create their own mission through the rediscovery of their own fallen society. You get to see how things that are usually normal to people in a functioning society are completely foreign to those who've never experienced such a thing. Certain customs, cultures, and even taboos are completely lost on them, and because of that, they can create their own. In Heavenly Delusion, you get to watch two people who have never experienced the world create their own through their own lens. They make the rules, they decide what is and isn't right, and how they end up will ultimately be up to them. Grief, joy, family, sex, life, death. These are all things that we've had the privilege of being taught about by others. We know how to properly process these feelings through healthy outlets because of those teachings. Heavenly Delusion is so unique because you get to see exactly what might happen if you take all of that away. You get to see whether the nature of man is to be kind or to be evil. You get to see the decision a human would make without any outside influence, to rob the earth or to help it flourish. And when stripped of societal norms, we get to see both the bottomless malice and the bottomless kindness of the human heart. Finally, this show shows you both hell and heaven through the two different perspectives. The hell being the outside world where Kiriko and Maru live, and the heaven being the mythical safe haven where the children live. What's interesting about heaven and hell, though, is that they both contain far more than what meets the eye. Even without knowing much about religion, one thing is for certain: neither heaven nor hell may exist anywhere on earth. Nothing is flawless, whether it be flawless order or flawless chaos. And throughout the journeys of Kiriko and Maru, we get to see how hell, even when it's swarming with what you could call demons, has immense beauty and splendor that makes you even wonder if there's a point in leaving it for this fabled heaven. And in the same way, the children's journey makes the viewer see how heaven might not be as divine and perfect as it's said to be. Watching these two parallel perspectives and knowing the significance behind these two places makes the experience all the better. We can see how hell could stand to use some heavenly qualities, and how heaven could stand to do the same with hell. Everything needs balance, and everything needs a foil. All I gotta say left, man, is just please watch the show. It's funny, it has stellar animation, and its plot keeps you on the edge of your seat. What's not to like? Listen, in this generation of anime, most of the time you get barely watchable garbage. Sometimes you might get something a bit more than just meh, and very rarely, sometimes, you get art. And in every sense of the word, that's what this is.